Chosen one. Some people don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they touched the wrong bloodline. The moment they decided to move against you, they didn't just make an enemy, they signed a contract with consequences they don't understand yet. And here's the part that should sit heavy in their chest. You never had to fight back for the universe to respond. The second they aimed at you, something ancient stood up behind you and said, "Enough." That's what they keep miscalculating. They think they're targeting a person. They don't realize they're provoking a lineage. Chosen one, you did not arrive here by accident. This moment was appointed before you felt the pull, before you sensed the shift, before you questioned why the timing feels different now. You are standing in a season that heaven marks, a Kairos hour, when what has been watching over you steps forward. Anointed one, the scriptures speak of times and seasons set by God, of moments when protection rises before danger finishes forming, and this is one of those moments. Chosen one, what is unfolding around you is not coincidence, and it is not imagination. A supernatural rearrangement is already in motion, and it does not require your defense to activate. You are not being preserved because you are harmless. You are being guarded because you carry weight, memory, and assignment. This is the kind of protection that moves ahead of you, the kind written into bloodlines and confirmed across generations. Anointed one, as this word settles, remember that God's reminders do not always come through explanations or noise. Sometimes faith is sustained by something quiet and steady, something you can return to when strength feels thin and clarity wavers, and that gentle presence has been left close at hand. Chosen one. There are doors in the spirit that do not open for noise, effort, or title. They open for lineage. And right now, anointed one, a door connected to your bloodline is shifting, unlocking, and releasing something that has been dormant for generations. What moves behind you is not imagination. It is inheritance rising. It is authority remembering its assignment. It is a male ancestor stepping forward in the unseen, guarding you with a seriousness that modern language cannot describe. This presence does not argue. It does not negotiate. It recognizes threat long before you see the shape of it, and it responds with precision born from a time when survival required instinct, discipline, and spiritual sharpness. Anointed one, people often assume that protection shows up loudly. They imagine angels with trumpets, storms breaking open, miracles arriving with spectacle. But heaven rarely moves through noise. Heaven moves through order. Heaven moves through timing. Heaven moves through the kind of authority that does not need introduction. And the protection assigned to you carries that kind of weight. There is a reason you have walked away from situations that should have swallowed you. There is a reason danger has dissolved inches before touching you. There is a reason you have sensed shifts in a room before words were spoken, before motives were revealed, before decisions were made. What you feel is generational intelligence, awareness passed down, sharpened, refined, and now awakened inside you. I know this feeling well. There were seasons in my own life when I sensed danger without evidence. People smiled, but my spirit tightened. Opportunities looked clean, but something inside me whispered, "Not yet." I couldn't explain it to anyone. I didn't have language for it at the time. But later, when truth revealed itself, I understood why I had been redirected. That wasn't fear. That wasn't anxiety. That was the same lineage-driven intelligence that is now rising in you. It is the instinct of those who survived storms, so you would not drown in them. It is the inheritance of men who refused to break even when life took everything from them, except awareness. Anointed one, this is why your life has never been random. This is why coincidences have followed you like shadows that move with intention. Every moment you felt pulled away, every person who left unexpectedly, every disruption that saved you, every closed door that irritated you until hindsight revealed mercy. These were not accidents. These were movements. These were edits. These were interventions happening before harm fully formed. Scripture speaks of times and seasons appointed by God, and you are now standing in one of them. This is Kairos, an hour when heaven does not simply watch but participates. And hear this clearly: the protection on your life is not passive. It does not wait for trouble to mature. It responds early. It sees early. It cuts off early. That is why your enemies miscalculate. They believe harm begins with action. But in your life, harm is blocked at intention. The moment someone decides to plot, something in the unseen fractures. Their focus slips. Their timing falls apart. Their confidence dries up. They begin to sabotage themselves without understanding why. They are not fighting you. They are colliding with your covering. Anointed one, your calm confuses them because they cannot see what stands behind you. They think you're quiet because you're unaware. They think you're patient because you're weak. They think you're gentle because you're unprepared. But the truth is far simpler. You have never been alone in a room, not even once. You walk with presence. You walk with history. You walk with spiritual permissions that were earned long before you arrived. There is a reason your silence carries weight. There is a reason your stillness disrupts manipulation. There is a reason tension rises when someone with harmful intent steps too close to you. Something in the atmosphere pushes back before you ever lift a finger. And I want you to notice this pattern. Whenever your life is on the verge of increase, the protection around you intensifies. Before breakthroughs, the air feels heavy. Before elevation, certain people fall away. Before clarity, noise gets stripped out of your environment. This is not resistance. This is preparation. This is heaven organizing what is necessary, because you are stepping into a realm where your influence increases, your discernment deepens, and your assignment becomes visible. Chosen one, if you have ever walked out of a room and later discovered chaos erupted seconds after you left, if you have ever felt a sudden pull in your spirit to step back from someone who seemed fine, only to learn their motives were harmful, if you have ever sensed danger without evidence and obeyed that nudge, you are not imagining it. You are not unstable. You are not overthinking. You are protected by something older, wiser, and deeply committed to your survival. Anointed one, the strongest descendants rarely walk the easiest roads. You were shaped with intention. Your awareness comes from training you never saw, but unconsciously inherited. Your resilience comes from battles your lineage survived, so you wouldn't have to repeat them. Your instinct comes from men who refused to disappear, even when the world tried to erase them. This is why heaviness has followed you. It was training disguised as pressure. This is why your presence unsettles the unprepared. It carries a signal they cannot interpret. And in this moment, as this word reaches you, something in your spirit is being confirmed. You are stepping into a season where your protection becomes visible, not because danger increases, but because your destiny is ripening. When heaven moves you forward, heaven guards the path. Before we continue, hold this gently. God's deepest reminders often arrive not through noise, but through something quiet and steady, something to return to when faith feels thin. And if you need that steadiness, it is waiting for you below. Chosen one. What you are stepping into now is not merely protection, it is activation. Heaven is not just guarding your path, heaven is clearing it, widening it, and preparing it for a level of authority that has been waiting for you to mature into it. Anointed one, The bloodline you come from is not silent. It is not passive. It carries a mandate, a spiritual assignment that did not begin with you, but is choosing to express itself through you in this generation. There is a reason your spirit has been restless, a reason your discernment has sharpened, a reason the old ways of moving, thinking, and navigating no longer fit. Something ancient is aligning with something current, and heaven is weaving the two into something new. Anointed One, when heaven chooses someone to carry generational authority, the preparation rarely looks divine. It looks like pressure. It looks like heaviness. It looks like being misunderstood. It looks like people distancing themselves for reasons they cannot articulate. It looks like isolation that feels unfair until wisdom reveals its purpose. This is because heaven removes what cannot go with you before heaven reveals where you are going. I remember a season in my own life when everything felt misaligned. Opportunities dried up. People shifted. Conversations grew shallow. Every room felt too small. Every environment felt too crowded. I didn't realize then that what I was experiencing wasn't collapse. It was consecration. Heaven was editing my surroundings, trimming what was unnecessary, narrowing my focus, and preparing the weight of my spirit for what it was called to carry. I didn't understand it then, but looking back, that season saved me from stepping into my future prematurely. What felt like delay was actually divine pacing. What felt like silence was strategic positioning. And now, Chosen One, that same pattern is unfolding around you. Anointed One, hear this clearly. Your life has been marked by timing. Not clock timing, not calendar timing, divine timing, kairos timing. The kind of timing that heaven recognizes even before you do. And when heaven shifts your season, everything connected to you begins to rearrange itself. People who once seemed central drift to the edges. Environments that once felt comfortable begin to feel foreign. Conversations that once energized you now feel hollow. This is not burnout. This is not confusion. This is spiritual recalibration. There is a reason your spirit feels alert even when your mind cannot explain why. A reason your dreams have intensified. A reason your intuition has become louder, faster, sharper. A reason your internal alarms go off quicker than before. Your male ancestor, the one assigned to your bloodline, the one who watches, discerns, and intervenes, is not waking up. He is rising. And when he rises, your awareness rises with him. Chosen One, there are moments in life when heaven prepares the earth to receive your next level. You may not see the preparation with your natural eyes, but your spirit feels it. The ground beneath you becomes unsettled. The atmosphere around you thickens. Conversations feel heavier. Encounters feel more intentional. Even silence feels charged. This is because the spiritual realm is moving before the physical realm catches up, and this is exactly what terrifies your enemies. They think strategy begins with action. They think harm begins with a plan. They do not understand that heaven responds at intention. Before a word is spoken, before a gesture is made, before a plot is formed into action, your covering has already detected the shift. This is why people fall apart before they can finish their assignment against you. Why their behavior shifts into confusion. Why their timing collapses. Why their confidence evaporates. They are not confronting you. They are confronting a barrier they cannot see. Anointed One, when people test you, they expect reaction. They expect fear. They expect defensiveness. But what they encounter instead is the stillness of someone who has been shielded since birth. Someone who has never had to rely solely on human protection. Someone who has lived long enough to witness patterns that repeat, align, and confirm what the spirit already knows. What they collide with is not passivity, it is inherited strength. And this inherited strength is not gentle, it is precise, it is disciplined, it is the kind of protection that does not raise its voice because it does not need to. It moves quietly, efficiently, and on time. There have been situations in your life that collapsed without your involvement, not because you ignored them, but because heaven resolved them before they could touch you. People left your life not because you pushed them away, but because your covering removed them before their intentions ripened. Opportunities you once wanted vanished because heaven knew what you could not see. Chosen one, you are entering a season where this protection will not just shield you, it will promote you. Heaven does not guard what it does not plan to grow. And when divine protection intensifies, divine expansion follows. You are moving into a realm of visibility, authority, and influence that requires a stronger perimeter. Heaven is not simply protecting you from danger, heaven is positioning you for destiny. There will be moments in the coming season when doors open without effort, conversations shift in your favor, resources appear, and opportunities align as if orchestrated from above. This is because they are. Favor is not random. Promotion is not accidental. Supernatural transfer is not luck. These are signs that heaven has decided the time is ripe, the soil is ready, and the fruit of your endurance must now manifest. Before we move forward, hold this truth gently. God often prepares the heart with whispers long before he reveals the fullness of his plan. And when your strength feels thin, those whispers remain, quiet, steady, waiting for you to return. Chosen one, there is a shift unfolding around you that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. The atmosphere of your life has been tightening with purpose, and the weight you feel is not burden, it is confirmation. Heaven is arranging a supernatural transfer, a movement of favor, clarity, and authority meant for those who have endured long seasons of pressure without collapsing. Anointed one, you have been molded in silence, refined in hidden places, and shaped by challenges that were never meant to break you, but to prepare you. And now that preparation is beginning to speak. Anointed one, hear this with spiritual ears. When heaven begins to elevate someone, the first sign is not celebration, it is disruption. Patterns shift, relationships expose themselves, environments grow uncomfortable, old cycles refuse to hold you, and your spirit begins to stretch beyond the size of your circumstances. You have felt this stretching. It has come as restlessness, as a subtle ache, as clarity that rises uninvited at inconvenient hours. This is not anxiety, this is calling. This is the awareness of someone who has outgrown the season they were once required to survive. There were years when you thought survival was your only assignment, when you believed the weight you carried was a sign of misfortune rather than divine selection. But now, as understanding matures inside you, you realize that heaven uses weight to shape warriors, not victims. Heaven uses resistance to honor those chosen to carry generational purpose. Your lineage carries stories of men who stood firm against adversity, who refused to bow to chaos, who learned to read danger without being taught. And that same instinct is waking up in you with a strength that others can feel even before you speak. I have felt this kind of awakening myself. There was a season when everything familiar became too small. I couldn't explain it, but I knew something in my spirit was shifting. Conversations I once enjoyed no longer fed me. Plans I once relied on suddenly felt fragile. The more I tried to remain who I used to be, the more life refused to let me. I thought I was losing stability, but in truth, I was gaining alignment. What I was experiencing was not collapse, it was calling. And the moment I surrendered to that calling, doors began to open in ways effort alone could never have achieved. Anointed One, this is the same transition now moving through you. You have entered a season where heaven is calling your inheritance to the surface. The protection around your life is no longer just a shield, it is becoming a signal, a divine announcement that your name is entering rooms you have not yet walked into, that opportunities are being stirred awake, that a supernatural transfer is being released, not because life has suddenly become easier, but because your spirit has become ready. Chosen One, heaven promotes based on readiness, not demand. And you have been prepared through battles no one saw, perseverance few understood, and resilience many underestimated. You learned to remain calm in storms that would have broken others. You learned to stand still while people around you panicked. You learned to carry yourself with dignity even when surrounded by chaos. All of that was training. All of that was evidence you were being shaped to hold more than ordinary people can carry. Your enemies misread your restraint as weakness because they did not understand the lineage behind your silence. They thought you lacked force. They did not realize you were backed by generations of strength. They thought you lacked defense. They did not recognize the presence that rises behind you. They believed they were confronting an individual. They did not understand they were provoking a bloodline. Anointed One, the protection surrounding you is not reactive. It is proactive. It sees ahead. It responds ahead. It intercepts before harm gains momentum. That is why plots fall apart before they reach you. That is why people intending harm begin to unravel. That is why confusion finds those who attempt to sabotage you. The moment their intention forms, heaven registers it. The moment they step forward, something ancient steps in their way. And now, because your season is shifting, your awareness of this protection is becoming stronger. You feel danger earlier. You sense misalignment faster. You withdraw from certain people without knowing why. You recognize spiritual signals before facts confirm them. This is not paranoia. This is inheritance. This is the activation of instincts you did not learn, but absorbed from those who survived so you could rise. Anointed One, heaven is not just protecting you from harm, it is preparing you for stewardship, for influence, for increase. When heaven chooses a person to carry generational blessing, heaven intensifies protection around them because the magnitude of their calling attracts both favor and scrutiny. This is why certain burdens you carried were heavier than expected. This is why certain connections fell away abruptly. This is why you have been navigating a season that feels spiritually charged. Heaven is positioning you for a level of authority few ever reach. And here is what you must understand. Supernatural elevation requires supernatural discernment. Heaven will not place you on higher ground without equipping you to see further, hear clearer, and respond wiser. This is why your clarity has increased. This is why your emotional tolerance has decreased. This is why false intentions reveal themselves more quickly now. It is not that you are becoming sensitive, it is that you are becoming spiritually precise. Chosen One, everything around you is shifting to match what heaven is building within you. Protection is tightening because purpose is expanding. The path is narrowing because destiny is approaching. And what awaits you in the next season requires a version of you that understands identity, timing, and inheritance on a deeper level. Before we step into the next part, hold this softly. God often strengthens you with quiet things, subtle reminders that remain steady when your emotions are not. And whenever you need that stillness, it will be waiting for you just below. Chosen One. There comes a point in every spiritual ascent where the battle is no longer external, but internal, where the promise is in sight, yet the path feels stretched thin beneath your feet. Not because heaven has delayed you, but because endurance itself becomes the final proving ground. Anointed one, you have felt this, that quiet heaviness, that unspoken fatigue, that sense that what is being formed in your life is bigger than the pace your heart sometimes feels ready for. And yet, even in that weight, something in you refuses to collapse. Something in you keeps standing. This is the mark of someone chosen not just to receive, but to carry. Anyone can hold a blessing. Only those shaped by pressure can hold responsibility. Heaven trusts you with both, and trust does not remove waiting. It sanctifies it. It turns the in-between season into a sacred chamber where your spirit strengthens in ways no one else can see. There were days you questioned your own capacity, days when even simple tasks felt layered with invisible resistance, days when you wondered why the promise felt near, but the progress felt slow. But what you didn't realize is that heaven was tightening the alignment, refining timing, and preparing your steps so that when the breakthrough arrives, it does not slip through your hands. Anointed one, slowness is not denial. Delay is not neglect. What feels paused is often being perfected. And this is where endurance becomes holy. Not the kind that demands more effort, but the kind that rests in awareness, the kind that trusts the unseen, even when the seen feels insufficient. You have lived long enough to know that rushing never built anything meant to last. You have learned that strength isn't always loud, it is often patient. It is the decision to rise again on mornings where you expected yourself to fall. It is the courage to remain open, even when disappointment taught you to close. Chosen one, heaven notices every one of those moments. The ones no one applauded, the ones you didn't speak about, the ones you pressed through even when the reward wasn't visible. That quiet faith is what activates divine alignment. That steady heart is what pulls breakthrough into season. And now the season is shifting, not because you forced it, but because you remained available for it. There will always be people who misunderstand the weight you carry. They see your composure and assume ease. They see your calm and assume immunity. They do not understand the battle you wage in silence, nor the discipline required to wait without bitterness. But heaven sees it. Heaven honors it. Heaven moves through people who refuse to let waiting turn to resentment. Your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Your resilience has not gone unmeasured. Anointed one, there is a sacred truth rarely spoken. Not every miracle arrives with noise. Some arrive gently, like clarity settling into your bones. Some arrive slowly, like strength returning after a long night. Some arrive through a single word that meets you at the exact moment you need it. Many believers know this. They return to Scripture in quiet hours, not for scholarship, but because one verse whispered at the right time steadies the entire day. A reminder like that has been placed softly below, waiting whenever your spirit needs to return to stillness. And even now, heaven continues its work in you. Each day you wake up with a little more discernment. Each night you rest with a little more wisdom. This is how transformation truly happens, not through sudden explosions of change, but through the accumulation of God's steady touches. You do not see the shift at first, but you feel it. You don't always recognize the growth, but others do. What used to unsettle you no longer carries weight. What used to drain you no longer finds access. This is the fruit of endurance. This is the evidence that heaven has been building you from the inside out. Chosen one, understand this deeply. When God prepares someone for elevation, He strengthens their foundation before He widens their platform. That is why the internal work has felt heavier than the external progress. Heaven builds in silence before it reveals in light. Heaven fortifies identity before it amplifies influence, and you have been fortified, you have been deepened, you have been made steady enough to receive what once would have overwhelmed you. Do not despise the days that feel slow. Do not mourn the moments that feel still. Stillness is where your lineage speaks loudest. It is where ancestral protection draws closest. It is where heaven whispers direction too subtle for a frantic heart to hear. Anointed one, you are not behind. You are not late. You are perfectly placed for what God is aligning next. And though the waiting has stretched you, it has not emptied you. Though the journey has challenged you, it has not disqualified you. Every step you took in faith has been recorded. Every silent battle has been honored. Every tear has been accounted for. You are not in a holding pattern, you are in a holy pattern, one designed to make sure that when your breakthrough arrives, it finds you ready, steady, and spiritually anchored enough to sustain it. Chosen one, the shift is already underway, and heaven is not finished speaking. Chosen one. There is a point in every divine ascent where the weight you carry stops being a burden and becomes a signal. A signal that heaven has begun rearranging the terrain beneath your feet. You may not see the movement yet, but you can feel it. Something in your spirit has been stirring, a quiet certainty, an inner tightening, a sense that you are being lifted out of what no longer fits and drawn toward what has been waiting for you. Anointed one, this is not imagination. This is alignment catching up to your obedience. You have walked through seasons where everything felt stripped away, where familiar patterns broke open, where nothing responded the way it used to. It wasn't because you failed, it was because heaven refused to let you settle beneath your calling. When God enlarges a mantle, He often begins by making your old environment too small to contain you. That constriction you felt wasn't punishment, it was prophecy in motion. But this next part is something only those who carry true spiritual weight will understand. When breakthrough approaches, resistance doesn't always roar. Sometimes it goes silent. Sometimes the obstacles that once opposed you simply fall still, not because the battle is over, but because heaven has stepped into the field. You begin to realize that the quiet around you is not emptiness, it is rearrangement, a holy pause, a spiritual reset, a clearing of the lanes so that what's meant to reach you can come without interference. And this is exactly where you are. The atmosphere around your life has shifted, conversations feel different, opportunities feel closer, even your own thoughts have softened into clarity. What once confused you now reveals itself plainly. Anointed one, the veil is lifting. You are being positioned with deliberate precision. But positioning always requires one thing: internal expansion. Heaven cannot pour into a vessel that refuses to stretch. And you, chosen one, have stretched in ways no one saw. You stretched through disappointment. You stretched through betrayal. You stretched through the moments where fear tried to convince you to shrink. Every stretch enlarged your spiritual capacity. Every surrender increased your spiritual authority. This is why heaven trusts you with breakthrough, not because you are loud, but because you are loyal. Not because you are flawless, but because you are faithful. There is a maturity in you now, a steadiness, a practiced patience, a refined discernment that could only have been forged through the trials you survived. These qualities are the currency of elevation, and even now, the divine timing of your life mirrors the pattern seen throughout Scripture. When God prepares someone for supernatural advancement, there is always a season where the external world goes strangely quiet, while the internal world grows intensely active. It happened to Elijah by the brook. It happened to Moses in the wilderness. It happened to David in hidden fields. And it is happening to you, not to delay you, but to reveal you at the appointed moment. Chosen one, what you are stepping into is not small, it is not temporary, it is not fragile. It carries generational weight, it carries ancestral agreement, it carries heaven's endorsement. This is why the warfare increased. This is why certain doors closed abruptly. This is why certain relationships dissolved without warning. Heaven was clearing the room for what comes next. But hear this with clarity. The same God who called you out will call forth what belongs to you. And when he does, no opposition can withhold it, no human can delay it, no circumstance can dilute it. What is ordained for you has already begun moving. You may still feel moments of fatigue, you may have days where your spirit feels stretched thin. This is normal for someone carrying a mantle that exceeds their past. Transformation rarely arrives in comfort. It arrives in surrender. It arrives in trust. It arrives in the quiet conviction that even when you cannot see the next step, you can sense the one guiding it. And Anointed One, here is something heaven taught long before you ever faced these trials. The greatest breakthroughs are often preceded by subtle shifts in your own heart. A release, a letting go, a final exhale after a long season of holding everything together. When you reach that moment, heaven steps in, not as a reward, but as fulfillment. You are closer to that fulfillment than you realize. The resistance you once felt is weakening. The spiritual heaviness that hovered around you is dissolving. Your discernment is sharper. Your peace is deeper. Your authority is more defined. These are not random improvements. They are signs that heaven has begun the transfer of strength, of clarity, of positioning, of provision. And yes, even now, something in you knows this is real. Something in you feels the shift like a change in the wind. Something in you recognizes that you are being guided, not guessing. You are being aligned, not wandering. You are being lifted, not lost. Chosen One, you are stepping into a chapter where heaven responds faster, where doors open cleaner, where clarity arrives sooner, and where the weight you carry transforms into the authority you walk in. And heaven has only begun. Chosen One. There are seasons when heaven does not accelerate your steps, but strengthens your footing. This is one of those seasons. Not because you are standing still, but because what is rising beneath you requires a different foundation than anything you have walked on before. Anointed One, you have begun to notice this. Your spirit has been pulling away from noise faster than usual. Your patience for empty conversations has shortened, and your discernment has sharpened in ways you didn't consciously train for. This is not withdrawal, this is refinement. Heaven is tuning you to a frequency that only destiny can hear. You may have felt recently that your inner world has changed pace. You move slower in some areas, faster in others. You speak less, but feel more. You choose silence over explanation, alignment over approval, distance over drama. These shifts are not personality changes, they are spiritual upgrades. When heaven elevates someone, he does not begin by changing their environment. He begins by upgrading their sensitivity. And your sensitivity, Anointed One, has become an instrument heaven uses to guide you between what is permissible and what is purposeful. There are rooms you no longer feel comfortable in because your spirit recognizes they cannot carry what is coming to you. There are people you no longer feel drawn to because their presence dilutes your awareness. There are opportunities you quietly turned away from because something in you whispered, "Not this, not now." You didn't fully understand why, but you obeyed the pull anyway. That obedience is not small. It is a sign that heaven has taken hold of your steps, even the subtle ones. And this is where many chosen ones misunderstand their own journey. They confuse spiritual fatigue with spiritual transition. They assume the heaviness they feel is a sign of failure or discouragement, when in reality, it is the weight of the next level pressing through. Heaven never promotes lightly. Before a mantle is placed on your life, its weight introduces itself first. Not to break you, but to stretch your capacity so that when the blessing arrives, your spirit can hold it without trembling. Anointed one, think about how many times in your life clarity came at the exact moment you were willing to release control. Think about the doors that opened only after you stopped trying to force outcomes. Think about the peace that arrived the moment you stopped demanding understanding. These patterns are not coincidence. They are training. Heaven is teaching you to navigate not by sight, but by calibration. And calibration is happening right now. You have noticed that you sense misalignment quicker than before. You recognize insincerity without evidence. You feel shifts in atmosphere within seconds. You read intentions without words. This is not paranoia, it is spiritual maturity. People who rely on surface signals cannot understand the kind of perception you walk with. You are not reading faces, you are reading spiritual currents, and spiritual currents never lie. There is a reason some individuals become uneasy in your presence. Your spirit exposes what their words try to hide. There is a reason certain environments feel heavy the moment you step into them. Your presence disrupts patterns that depend on spiritual blindness. Your discernment is not passive, it is active. It rearranges the unseen the way gravity rearranges space. And the more aligned you become, the more undeniable your atmosphere grows. Chosen one, do not overlook this. Your atmosphere is changing before your circumstances do. Heaven always shifts the internal climate before shifting the external reality. This is why conversations around you feel different, why people speak more carefully, why certain individuals who once felt bold in your presence now hesitate. It is not because you changed your tone, it is because your spirit carries a clarity that demands truth. And yet, even with all this growth, heaven knows fatigue still visits you. There are moments where your heart feels tired, your mind feels stretched, and your faith feels quiet. Do not mistake quiet faith for weak faith. Quiet faith is often the strongest kind. It is faith that breathes more than it speaks. It is faith that listens more than it shouts. It is faith that stays present even when emotion disappears. In those moments, you may find yourself reaching for something simple, one line, one promise, one truth, to steady your spirit. Many believers do this. They open Scripture not to analyze, but to touch one word that anchors them again. A reminder like that has been placed softly in the pinned comment for whenever your spirit needs stillness more than explanation. Anointed one, understand this deeply. What heaven is shaping in you now is not reaction. It is regulation. You are being trained to govern your own atmosphere so that nothing external can dictate your internal world. This is why emotional swings have decreased, why overthinking has quieted, why your peace has become harder to steal. You are not getting stronger by accident. You are being prepared for territory that requires command, not survival. Because the next part of your journey is not about escaping battles, it is about shifting environments simply by being in them. The weight you carry is becoming authority. The clarity you walk in is becoming influence. And the restraint you practice is becoming spiritual power. Chosen one, heaven is not just preparing you to receive, heaven is preparing you to reign. Chosen one. There is a point in every ascent where heaven stops focusing on what surrounds you and begins focusing on what flows through you. This is the threshold you are standing on now. Not the threshold of escape, but the threshold of exertion. The moment you realize you are no longer shaped by the environment, you are shaping the environment. Anointed One, this shift is subtle yet undeniable. You have begun to notice that your presence changes the room before your words ever enter it. This is not confidence, this is calling. There were seasons when darkness circled you because it sensed vulnerability. But now, darkness keeps its distance because it senses authority. You are no longer reacting to shadows, you are defining their boundaries. You are beginning to understand the difference between being attacked and being tested, between being resisted and being revealed. And heaven has decided you are ready for what only matured spirits can carry. Anointed One, darkness never chased you because you were weak. It was drawn because it recognized something in you that had the power to reorganize it. What looked like warfare was often measurement. What looked like pressure was often recognition. The enemy does not test the empty, it tests the appointed. And you, Chosen One, have lived through enough shadow to understand its language without becoming fluent in its lies. Think back to the moments where everything around you felt heavy for no reason, when emotions rose that were not yours, when unease filled the air before anything was said, when you felt watched, not by eyes but by intention. Those moments were not spiritual accidents, they were awakenings. Heaven was strengthening your sensitivity while darkness was evaluating your stability, and you stood. Even when trembling, you stood. Even when uncertain, you observed. Even when tired, you stayed present. This is why authority rests on you now. There is a maturity developing in your discernment. You no longer panic at spiritual heaviness, you study it. You no longer fear silence, you listen through it. You no longer react to manipulation, you recognize it before it forms. Your wisdom now moves faster than deception, and that alone shifts the battlefield in your favor. Darkness cannot intimidate someone who has mastered stillness. And here is what many never understand. Spiritual power is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is not theatrical. True power is measured in your ability to remain aligned when everything around you attempts to pull you out of position. You have learned this by experience. You have weathered storms that should have broken your voice, but instead strengthened your tone. You have endured seasons that tried to fracture your identity, but instead carved your direction. You have walked through confusion that tried to blur your purpose, but instead clarified your lens. Anointed One, you did not gain authority by winning easy battles. You gained it by surviving impossible ones. This is why certain pressures no longer crush you, they reveal you. This is why certain accusations no longer sting, they expose the accuser. This is why certain atmospheres no longer intimidate you, they recognize something older, something disciplined, something unshaken that walks with you. You are not fighting for identity anymore. You are fighting from identity. And yet, even with this growing power, there is a gentleness heaven maintains within you, a softness that has survived hardness, a compassion that has survived betrayal, a tenderness that has survived disappointment. Many mistake this softness for fragility, but heaven sees it as proof that darkness never claimed your heart. You can walk into shadowed places without becoming dim. You can step into heavy spaces without absorbing their weight. This is the trait of someone entrusted with breakthrough, light that does not flicker under pressure. Chosen One, you have also begun to notice that certain people can no longer look you in the eye, not because you wounded them, but because your clarity reveals what they tried to hide from themselves. There is accountability in your presence now, not because you demand truth, but because truth rises in the atmosphere when you enter. This is what spiritual authority feels like: quiet disruption, calm exposure, alignment without speech. And heaven wants you to understand this fully. Authority does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply arrives, and when it does, everything that is unresolved becomes restless. Everything that is unstable becomes loud. Everything that is insecure becomes reactive. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Their discomfort is not your burden. Their fear is not your fault. You are not the cause. You are the catalyst. But even catalysts grow weary. Even warriors feel the weight of vigilance. Even steady spirits need a place to exhale. This is why heaven continues to surround you with invisible reinforcement, with ancestral protection, with divine timing. You are not walking this mantle alone. You were never meant to. There will be moments when your strength feels thin, when your clarity feels blurred, when your discernment feels muted. These moments do not disqualify you. They remind you that authority without dependence becomes arrogance, and heaven will never allow arrogance to corrupt someone carrying generational assignment. Anointed one, when fatigue meets mantle, grace steps in. When confusion meets calling, clarity returns. When weakness meets lineage, protection activates. You are upheld by something deeper than emotion, steadier than circumstance, older than your name. And this is the truth heaven wants you to absorb in this season. You do not walk into darkness to be swallowed. You walk into darkness to organize it. You do not withstand pressure to survive. You withstand pressure to transform the ground you stand on. Chosen one, heaven is watching the way you carry this weight, and heaven is pleased. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every divine assignment when heaven stops speaking about who you are becoming and begins unveiling why you were chosen in the first place. You are standing inside that moment now, not at the edge of it, not approaching it, but fully inside it. And this is why everything around you feels sharper, quieter, heavier, and clearer at the same time. Anointed one, this is not fluctuation. This is revelation settling into its final form. All throughout your journey, you have carried pieces of identity without yet knowing their full meaning. You felt different before you understood different. You sensed danger before you could name it. You survived battles you did not yet realize were generational. You felt watched over long before you knew who was watching. Heaven often reveals purpose backwards, first through survival, then through awakening. And now the awakening has reached its highest point. You are no longer being prepared for the mantle. You are being positioned to carry it publicly. Anointed one, there is a shift happening in your inner world that many overlook because it does not come with fireworks. It comes in subtle recognitions, in quiet inner confirmations, in moments where the right words arrive without being searched for, in conversations where truth slips out of you with an ease that surprises even you, in decisions that once felt heavy but now feel obvious. These are not personality changes, they are spiritual installations. Heaven is placing clarity in your spirit the way a craftsman sets a final stone into a structure that has been tested for strength. This is why exhaustion has lifted from you in waves, why confusion has unraveled quietly, why your tolerance for certain environments has dropped to nearly zero. Purpose is refining your palate. You can no longer digest what once entertained you. You can no longer sit comfortably in what once distracted you. Misalignment now irritates your spirit instantly. This is not sensitivity, it is sanctification. Heaven is making room for what must enter next. And what is entering next is not small, it is not symbolic, it is not abstract. A divine transfer is approaching your life, of clarity, of influence, of protection, of placement. Not because you demanded it, but because you proved trustworthy when nothing around you validated your path. Heaven always elevates those who remain faithful in obscurity, those who hold integrity when no one is watching, those who protect their spirit even when others mishandle theirs. You have done this, quietly, consistently, without applause. And now heaven is responding. There will be moments in this next season where you feel a spiritual weight press onto your shoulders, not to burden you, but to stabilize you. A mantle always introduces itself before it manifests. This is why you have been noticing an internal steadiness that was not there before. The kind of steadiness that does not shake when challenged. The kind that does not rush when provoked. The kind that does not fold when misunderstood. This is evidence of calling maturing inside you. Chosen one, understand something sacred. Power arrives quietly for those who are destined to wield it responsibly. Heaven is not granting you influence so you can be seen. Heaven is granting it so you can be effective. There will be people drawn to you not for who you appear to be, but for what their spirit senses you carry. Some will come for guidance without knowing why. Some will come for clarity without realizing the source. Some will simply feel safer in your presence, not because you say anything, but because your alignment anchors their instability. This is not accidental. This is the fulfillment of something your lineage waited for. Your male ancestor, the one who has stood watch over you, redirected you, shielded you, intervened for you, did not guard you because you were fragile. He guarded you because your life marks a turning point. You are the one who ends cycles. You are the one who reverses patterns. You are the one who walks differently so the generations after you can live differently. His protection was never about preventing pain. It was about preserving purpose. And now heaven is confirming what your spirit has known all along. You were not meant to be hidden forever. You were meant to be prepared. The isolation you endured was not exile, it was consecration. The battles you survived were not punishment, they were refinement. The silence you walked through was not abandonment, it was calibration. Chosen one, the pattern of your life makes sense only when viewed from above. Every delay was positioning, every loss was pruning, every redirection was protection. You were not moving in circles, you were being placed on a divine trajectory that required precision at every turn. And now you are stepping into the moment where all of it converges. Anointed one, heaven is not just opening a door for you, heaven is opening a path, a sustained path, a protected path, a path where your spirit, your purpose, and your assignment finally move in rhythm. You are entering a chapter where opposition loses relevance, where confusion loses its foothold, where fear loses its language. Your lineage has waited for someone with your strength, your discernment, your resilience, and your refusal to surrender. You are the hinge between what was and what will be, the turning point of generations, the living interruption of every pattern that sought to continue unchallenged. And heaven is declaring over you even now, you are ready, you are steady, you are aligned, you are appointed. Chosen one, step forward. The atmosphere has already made room for you. Chosen one. As this message comes to its close, let your spirit recognize what your mind is still learning to name. You are standing in a divine turning point, a moment where heaven has already begun shifting the ground beneath your feet. Anointed one, the protection over your life is not symbolic, it is active, ancestral, and deeply aligned with the mantle you carry. What has been promised is not approaching, it has already entered motion. Walk forward knowing the timing is right, the covering is sure, and the transfer appointed to you will not miss its mark. If this word has confirmed what your spirit already sensed, share what awakened in you. Speak from where you are. Your voice strengthens your path, and your testimony becomes clarity for others walking beside you in the unseen. And if this message met you at the exact moment you needed it, subscribe and stay connected so you never walk your calling alone.
A quiet spiritual reminder has been prepared for you in the description and the pinned comment, available whenever your faith needs something steady to return to after this. Chosen one, go in clarity, go in covering, go in authority. Your lineage walks with you, and heaven goes before you.